You sit in the dark, watching a man with a painted face, a clown who laughs as the world burns. You call him the Joker, a madman, an enemy of your so-called hero. But I must tell you the truth you fear. The Joker is not a monster created by an artist, nor is he merely a character of fiction. He is your reflection. He is what you are when the mask of civilization slips. He is the truth about the human psyche that you have spent centuries running away from. In my life's work, I spoke of something I called the shadow. It is the part of yourself you deny, repress, and project onto others. It is the box where you stuff all your rage, all your envy, your lust, your hatred, your hunger to destroy, your deepest fears. The more you hide it, the darker it grows. The more you repress it, the more violently it bursts forth. And here is the paradox. Without the shadow, you are not whole. Without acknowledging this darkness, you are not human, only a fragile mask. The Joker, whether you realize it or not, is the shadow you refuse to see. This is why he fascinates you. This is why his presence overshadows the hero himself. Your Batman, the noble one, cannot hold your attention in the same way. Why? Because Batman is the mask. The Joker is the truth. Do not misunderstand me. When I say truth, I do not mean goodness. I mean reality. Look at the Joker across your stories. In the Dark Knight, he burns a mountain of money. People gasped, but they also felt a strange exhilaration. Why? Because you recognized in that moment the emptiness of what you worship. Paper, numbers in banks, illusions that govern your lives. He destroyed what you cling to, and in doing so, he revealed the hollowness of your values. This is what the shadow does. It does not care for comfort. It rips away your illusions. In the story you call Joker, the film with Joaquin Phoenix, you watched a man beaten down, ignored, rejected, crushed by the weight of society's indifference. You saw him snap. You saw him become the Joker. And disturbingly, you felt empathy. Why did millions across your country feel this dangerous sympathy? Because you know deep in your bones that you live in a world built on masks where many suffer invisibly. You recognized in Arthur Fleck's transformation not just madness, but the suppressed pain of millions. When he danced on the stairs, you felt something close to liberation. But liberation into what? Into chaos, into violence, into shadow. This is not coincidence. Archetypes, as I wrote, live in the collective unconscious. They appear again and again across cultures and time. The Joker is your trickster archetype fused with your shadow. The trickster mocks order, bends rules, exposes the absurdity of human structures. But combined with the shadow, he is no harmless prankster. He is a prophet of collapse. His laughter is not joy. It is the echo of truth tearing through the veil of your illusions. You must understand, what frightens you about the Joker is not that he is insane. It is that he is sane in ways you dare not admit. He reveals the corruption in your systems, the hypocrisy of your morals, the fragility of your civilization. He does not invent chaos. He reveals the chaos already inside you, inside your society. When you cheer for him, you are cheering for the part of yourself you locked away. And when you fear him, you are fearing the day that part will no longer be contained. Consider this. Every culture has created figures that embody the shadow. In the ancient world, there were trickster gods. Loki in the Norse, Hermes in the Greek, Coyote in the Native American tales. But never before has a culture worshipped its shadow so openly as yours does with the Joker. He has become larger than the stories that birthed him. He is quoted, idolized, tattooed, celebrated. This is not entertainment. This is your unconscious telling you something, that your society is dangerously close to being consumed by what it refuses to acknowledge. Why is the Joker an American obsession? Because America itself is drowning in shadow. Violence is woven into your history. Inequality festers beneath your prosperity. Anger, division, despair, they simmer in the darkness, unspoken, denied. And so the Joker emerges as your cultural mirror. You watch him not to escape reality, but because you sense that he is reality, stripped of its masks. Do you know what happens to the individual who refuses to face his shadow? He is overtaken by it. He becomes controlled by what he repressed. And what happens to an entire nation that refuses to face its shadow? That nation becomes consumed by it. The Joker is not only entertainment. He is warning. He is prophecy. He is the shape of what your culture becomes if you continue to deny the truths you fear. You call him chaos. But I say to you, the Joker is order of another kind, the order that lies beneath the thin surface of your illusions. His laughter is the laughter of the shadow breaking free. You may despise him, but you cannot look away. That is the secret you already know, the secret you are too afraid to admit. The Joker is not your enemy. He is your reflection. And the more you deny this, the stronger he becomes. I once wrote that people do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. That is what the Joker demands of you. He is the darkness you must face, not in your theaters, not in your stories, but in yourselves. Because if you will not face him within, you will face him without. And then the laughter will not stop. You have seen many faces of the clown, each painted differently, each speaking to you with a voice that is both strange and familiar. But I must tell you a secret. These are not simply artistic choices. They are archetypal masks, each revealing a different aspect of your shadow. The Joker is not one figure, he is many. And through each incarnation, you are being shown the fragments of what you fear to see in yourself. Let us begin with the earliest, Jack Nicholson's Joker in Batman, 1989. At first glance, he appears cartoonish, theatrical, a criminal with a flair for jokes and deadly toys. But if you dismiss him as mere entertainment, you miss the deeper current. He is the trickster unleashed. Do you notice how he dances through violence, how he commits murder with joy, how he transforms death into comedy? This is not madness. This is the raw archetypal trickster energy breaking through the mask of civilization. The trickster does not care for morality, does not care for logic. He exists to disrupt, to remind you that beneath your ordered world lies absurdity. Nicholson's Joker embodies the childlike glee of destruction. His killings are spectacles, his crimes performances. Why does this resonate with you? Because you secretly long for such liberation. You live under laws, rules, expectations, suffocating roles. But inside you is the desire to break free, to laugh at authority, to spit on order. Nicholson's Joker gives you that freedom in fantasy. He is your inner rebel, your suppressed urge to laugh at the seriousness of existence. You tell yourself he is evil, but in the darkness of the theater you smile. That smile is your shadow agreeing with him, but the Joker evolves with you. In 2008, he returns through Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, and here the archetype deepens. He is no longer simply the trickster, he has become the philosopher of chaos. This Joker does not just kill, he explains. He tells you why your world is fragile. He lectures your heroes on the futility of morality, the weakness of society. Introduce a little anarchy, he says, and you listen with rapt attention. Why? Because he is speaking the words of your own unconscious. Ledger's Joker is not motivated by wealth, not even by revenge. He burns money because he knows money is illusion. He destroys order to show you that order never existed. His purpose is to expose the lie of civilization. In psychological terms, he is the shadow that demands recognition. In mythological terms, he is the dark prophet, the trickster who has grown teeth. He is what you become when you strip away all illusions and stare at the abyss. And you loved him. He terrified you, yes, but you could not look away. The audience found themselves strangely agreeing with him, repeating his lines, making him a cultural icon. Do you see what happened here? The shadow was not only acknowledged, it was celebrated. The world mourned when Ledger died, not only because an actor was gone, but because the cultural shadow had spoken too clearly, too powerfully, and you were not ready to let him go. Then came Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in 2019. Here the archetype took its most dangerous form, no longer a cartoon criminal, no longer a philosopher of chaos. Now the Joker was human. You watched Arthur Fleck, a man abused, neglected, laughed at, abandoned by the very structures meant to protect him. And as he broke, you felt the cracks within yourself. This Joker was not another. He was you. He was the neighbor you ignore, the co-worker you mock, the man on the subway you refuse to meet eyes with. When Phoenix's Joker finally dances down those stairs, he is not merely celebrating madness. He is embodying a liberation from rejection, from invisibility, from despair. Millions around the world cheered, but few admitted why. It is because you recognized his suffering as your own. The difference is that he acted upon it. He turned rejection into revenge, humiliation into violence, pain into spectacle. And this too is the shadow. The shadow is not only darkness, it is potential energy. It is what happens when the unseen demands to be seen. Do you understand the danger? In Nicholson's Joker, you laughed. In Ledger's Joker, you thought. In Phoenix's Joker, you felt. And feeling is the most dangerous, because empathy with the shadow means you are one step away from merging with it. This is why governments, critics, and cultural gatekeepers feared the 2019 Joker. They feared it would inspire violence. But the deeper truth is this: they feared it would inspire recognition. Because when you see your suffering mirrored so clearly, you cannot hide behind illusions any longer. Each Joker is a mirror, and each mirror reflects a deeper truth about your psyche and your society. Nicholson revealed your suppressed desire for chaos and rebellion. Ledger revealed the philosophical emptiness of your systems and morals. Phoenix revealed the cost of your cruelty, the truth of your indifference. Together they form a trinity of the shadow, the clown, the prophet, the victim. And do you see what all three have in common? They overshadow the hero. Your so-called Batman fades in comparison. Why? Because heroes are masks, ideals, constructs of what you wish to be. But villains, especially the Joker, are truths, reflections of what you are. This is why, in every telling, the Joker steals the story. He steals it because the shadow is always stronger than the mask. But there is something even darker here. Your fascination with the Joker has grown over time. What began as a cartoonish villain is now a cultural obsession. Why is this? Because your society itself is slipping deeper into shadow. You are no longer content with simple villains. You crave complexity, truth, reflection. You want the darkness to speak, because deep down you know your civilization is fragile and you need someone to tell you why. This is why, as Jung, I must warn you, the Joker is not finished. He will return again and again, each time closer to the truth you fear. And one day, he will no longer be on your screens. He will be in your streets, in your leaders, in your neighbors. Because the shadow you refuse to integrate always finds a way to erupt. And when it does, it laughs. The masks change, the faces change, but the archetype remains eternal. The Joker is not a character. He is your unconscious, demanding to be seen. The question is not whether you will watch him. The question is whether you will recognize yourself when you do. And now, listen closely. Because the next truth is subtle, almost imperceptible, but it is the one that will haunt you if ignored. The Joker does not exist merely to entertain or frighten. He exists to illuminate. He is the darkness you refuse to name, the chaos you refuse to understand, the truth you refuse to acknowledge. Every laugh, every twist of his smile, every dance down those endless steps is an invitation to confront the shadow that whispers in your own mind, in your own society. To deny it is to feed it, to ignore it is to strengthen it, and to embrace it, even for a fleeting moment, is to reclaim a piece of your lost wholeness. You may ask, why does the Joker seem so American? Why does he resonate with the particular anxieties of your time and place? It is not coincidence. The American dream, built upon freedom and abundance, masks a profound fragility. Beneath your prosperity lie inequality, isolation, unspoken rage, and the denial of human suffering. These are the breeding grounds of the shadow, and so the Joker emerges, perfectly shaped by the collective unconscious to reflect the truths your nation cannot face. He is not imported chaos. He is homegrown, nurtured in the silent corners of your collective denial. Every act of violence, every mocking grin, every philosophical provocation is the shadow speaking to you directly. The truth you have constructed society to avoid has always been there. Consider the Joker's relationship with the audience. You cheer, you cringe, you quote, you cosplay, you create memes, you immortalize his face on walls and screens. Yet few understand the reason. You are performing a ritual of engagement with the shadow. You do not watch him merely because he is entertaining. You watch him because he embodies that which your culture refuses to accept. By engaging with him in art, in media, in conversation, you create a contained encounter with chaos. You are flirting with your own darkness in a controlled space, and that paradoxically is how the shadow is safely integrated, through acknowledgement, not suppression. Each incarnation, Nicholson, Ledger, Phoenix, teaches a different lesson. Nicholson's clown is performative chaos, liberation through mockery. Ledger's is philosophical, a teacher of anarchy, a prophet revealing societal fragility. Phoenix's is human, raw, painfully recognizable. He is suffering manifested, and empathy for him forces you to recognize the suffering around you, the systemic cruelty, the neglect. Each time, the shadow becomes more immediate, more intimate, more unavoidable. And each time, your fascination grows, because the more the shadow is reflected clearly, the more it resonates, and the more your unconscious thirsts for recognition. Do you see what is happening across decades? The Joker's evolution mirrors your collective evolution of repression, denial, and confrontation. In your obsession, you are rehearsing the encounter with the shadow you have so long avoided. You laugh, you fear, you celebrate, but you also learn. And yet beware, the shadow is never fully tamed. It does not submit to admiration or acknowledgement alone. It tests, it provokes, it challenges. The Joker is not static. He adapts, mutates, and finds new forms in every era, reflecting new anxieties, new societal weaknesses, new truths too uncomfortable to accept. And that is why he will never truly leave you. He cannot. He is not an actor, a writer, a filmmaker. He is the collective unconscious given form, and he will appear wherever your shadow grows too large to ignore. And what of your heroes? Your Batmans, your idealized figures, the masks of virtue and order you idolize. They are important, yes. They are necessary for structure, for guidance, for comfort. But they are illusions of safety, constructs of the ego that promise order while denying the chaotic truth beneath. And the Joker always overshadows them, because the shadow is more powerful than the mask. The Joker reminds you that the fragile structures you rely upon are always vulnerable to the truths you suppress. He is not the enemy of the hero. He is the reminder that the hero cannot exist without confrontation with what it seeks to suppress. And the danger grows, subtle yet insistent, because fascination is not neutral. When admiration becomes obsession, when empathy becomes identification, when ritual becomes reality, the shadow is allowed to seep further into the conscious life. You think you are watching fiction, yet the unconscious is watching you back. It sees where denial reigns. It notes where empathy falters. It measures the cracks in morality, the hidden resentments, the unspoken rage. And it whispers through the Joker, "This is what happens when you refuse to see. This is what rises when you refuse to integrate. You cannot escape me, and I will return." Do you understand now why cultural obsession is no triviality? The Joker's face on your walls, his quotes on your lips, the memes shared in digital spaces, these are all forms of unconscious acknowledgement. Every time you engage, the shadow learns, calibrates, becomes more potent, more intimate, more dangerous. You have created not just a character, but a conduit for collective reflection. You have invited chaos into your understanding, and in that invitation lies both peril and revelation. To ignore it is to feed it unconsciously. To confront it is to gain clarity, to glimpse wholeness, to integrate the darkness into consciousness. And so, consider the future. The Joker will not stop evolving. Your society will continue to produce new forms, new masks, new faces of the shadow, because repression is relentless and denial is fertile soil. When another incarnation appears, perhaps not in cinema, perhaps in unexpected places, in unforeseen social upheavals, in the faces of the disillusioned, you will recognize him. And what will you do then? Will you turn away, laugh nervously, or will you finally see? Will you finally admit that the mask of civility is fragile, that order is temporary, that chaos always waits in the dark, that your society, your mind, your conscience contains a mirror you have avoided for too long? The choice is never between hero and villain. It is never between sanity and madness. It is always between recognition and denial, between confrontation and avoidance, between light and shadow. And the Joker, in all his forms, demands this recognition. He laughs not because he is free, but because he knows you are not. And every time you watch, every time you empathize, every time you quote him, you are confronted with the silent question. Are you brave enough to face the truth inside, or will you hide behind the illusions you have built? Remember, the masks change, the laughter endures. The faces may differ, the archetype remains eternal. The Joker is not a man, not a clown, not a villain. He is the embodiment of what you refuse to see, what you fear to admit, what you long to understand. He is your shadow, alive, moving, laughing, waiting. And in that waiting lies both peril and revelation. A mirror and a warning. Confront the darkness within before it overwhelms the world without.